Honey Island Ape.
In the history of the natural world to the supernatural, I found many weird things. But just because I don't know what it is doesn't make it supernatural. While the true heart of science is to always question even yourself. In the end, I have become an objective atheist. I am an atheist, but I want there to be more.
Also called the Honey Island Swamp Monster, it is a legendary hominid cryptid reported to have been seen in Honey Island Swamp, Louisiana since 1963. The creature is described as a bipedal, 7 foot tall, and weighs somewhere between 400 to 500 pounds, with gray hair and yellow or red eyes, and accompanied by a disgusting smell. Footprints supposedly left by the creature have 3 webbed toes. First claimed sighting was in 1963 by Harlan Ford, a retired air traffic controller who had taken up wildlife photography. After his death in 1980, a reel of Super 8 film showing the creature was allegedly found amongst his belongings. In 1974, the monster gained national fame after Ford and his friend Billy Mills claimed to have found unusual footprints in the area, as well as the body of a wild boar whose throat had been gashed. Ford continued to hunt for the creature for the next 6 years. After Harlan Ford's death in 1980, a reel of Super 8 film showing the creature was allegedly found amongst his belongings. I have seen this film footage, and I personally found it very similar from the range to one of those ghillie suits people wear. Snipers have been known to use them, but when hiding or hunting in the swamp. But it was at such a range, it could have been anything, really. The idea of a large ape-like creature in the area is not without its critics, notably local ecologist Paul Wagner, who, with his wife Sue, rue nature tours in the area. Neither they nor the Cajun guide, Robbie Charbonneau, has seen any evidence of it. Though it is purportedly to be a Bigfoot-like creature, the footprint castings that have been collected more resembled alligator-like footprints. Ford made casts of the footprints, which showed the creature to have 3 web-like toes. It was also around this time that Ford's findings were featured on In Search Of, an early show about cryptids on television, which brought national attention to the creature. Since then, the Honey Island Swamp Monster has been featured on other TV shows such as Fact or Faked or Lots Tapes. There's no real evidence for the Honey Island Swamp Monster prior to Ford's claims, but some have theorized that it is related to other local myths such as Lechits and Rougarous. Creatures have been linked to and blamed for numerous human and livestock deaths for the past several decades. Perhaps the most interesting and outrageous story of the origins of the Honey Island Swamp Monster is one involving a train wreck in the early 20th century that goes that a group of chimpanzees from a traveling circus escaped after the wreck and began to interbreed with local alligators, population creating the hybrid species we now know as the Honey Island Swamp Monster. After Harlan Ford's death, Super 8 footage was discovered in his belongings of an alleged Honey Island Swamp Monster sighting. Ford's granddaughter, Dana Hollyfield, used the footage in a documentary about the Honey Island Swamp Monster. She has also expressed confusion as to why her grandfather did not reveal the existence of this footage during his lifetime. In my opinion on that, that was because what he saw the first time was not what he had on footage. The footage may have been a person in a ghillie suit, but he knew that, so he didn't show anyone. He didn't want to confuse the ideas. He didn't want to lie and bring false evidence. For me, this actually gives him more credibility in his report. He believes what he saw. Hollifield also wrote a book which features Ford's original writings, including a letter he wrote in the 1970s about his encounter with the creature. She also has a website which features various pieces of merchandise based around the idea of the Honey Island swamp monster, and is working on producing a new version of her original documentary. I wouldn't mind putting that one together. I'd like a look at the evidence myself, but I'll look forward to seeing it. As with any cryptid, many people investigated and found no reason to believe the Honey Island swamp monster exists, and every reason to believe otherwise. Joe Nickell, a prominent paranormal investigator investigating Ford's footage, declared it a Patterson knockoff, referring of course to the famous Sasquatch footage, and suggests that the reason Ford did not reveal the footage existence during his lifetime is because of its dubious quality. Also seeing the way the Peterson one was dealt with, no wonder he was like, no one's going to care, they're just going to make fun of it anyways, because that was as real as it gets. Nickell states that some of the film is suspiciously missing, and also points out that it is quite the coincidence Ford managed to capture footage of the Honey Island swamp monster in the limited time available on a roll of Super 8 film. It's because most of the time, most of the film was wasted. He may have taken what was useful, edited it, and saved that. So there, and then made a filmed copy of that one. Nickell also traveled to the Honey Island swamp and spoke with a local ecologist named Paul Wagner, along with his wife, Sue, and their guide, Robbie Charbonneau, who runs nature tours in the area. The three have expressed skepticism with the large ape-like creature existing in the swamp. Charbonneau presents his own theories about why the myth of the Honey Island swamp monster and other similar creatures is so prevalent. He believes that the myths are meant to keep outsiders away from hunting areas or to prevent people from stumbling into moonshine stills. He also suggests that they might simply be a way to frighten children so that they stay away from dangerous places. In 2003, two men named M.K. Davis and J. Michael traveled to the Honey Island swamp in order to get stock footage for a documentary of the creature. Instead, they encountered locals who claimed that the entire thing was a hoax, and that a shoe with a 3-toed attachment had been found, confirming that Ford's footprint castings had been faked. People Davis and Michael interviewed claimed that all locals knew for a fact that it was a hoax, and even revealed how the footprints were made, as the two men were in the process of filming for their own documentary. Lauren Coleman, in an entry on the site Cryptomundo, explains that the only real evidence has been ignored is because Davis has become infamous as being disreputable source of Bigfoot community for presenting theories such as the Patterson-Gimlin footage being proof as of that of a massacre. M.K. Davis seems far from the most reliable source of this investigation by Joe Nickell, and the assertion by people who have lived and worked in the area seem to add credibility to him. The lack of any real information on the creature, combined with the fact that Harlan Ford's suspicion didn't realize the footage that supposedly proved the existence of Honey Island swamp monster, seems to suggest that even if Ford didn't fake anything, it's highly unlikely the footprint castings of his Super 8 footage were real or would even be looked at as that. If the Honey Island swamp monster is real, a few things can be noticed again. The smell, which sounds very much like other Bigfoots, which is known to be in cavernous areas, especially in the areas that get any vents from any volcanic activity, possibly exposed to sulfur. As other Bigfoot creatures, the footprints could reflect the effects of someone living in swamps, possibly evolving over centuries. And they could be gone now. But since we have such a small sample to draw upon, only these two and descendants seem to encounter it, as well as it lacks in the local Indian mythology to support it, as with the Bigfoot. This seems to reflect an individual instead of a pack of animals, so may have been a mutation of everything that Bigfoot or humans, and again, may not even live now. But it's not a breeding population. In my study on this, I personally feel Harlan Ford reported what he saw the first time. And even his footage later on, because that didn't match to, he knew what it looks like. He wasn't in question. The footage he saw, he knew wasn't it. Why show it? It was fraudulent, and he knew it. Now, he saw something once. Any prints, I would have to wonder if others were trying to fake him. I don't think he was part of it. I really don't. Not with his actions and that and how he spent the rest of his time. I don't think he believed it either fully, because he kept looking. He didn't just accept it and go on and like write a book and sit at home. No, he put in more footwork. So he saw something. If it was someone, that I can't say. But he, I feel, was honest in his reports. And his keeping the evidence behind and not showing it, once again to me means the opposite seems to mean to the rest of the field. To me, he knew it wasn't real because he knew what to compare it to, and we don't even. He knew it wasn't real, and he just, kept it because it was interesting. You keep weird things. You look at a flower if you're out in the woods. You keep a picture. You can't even remember later on where it came from or what year, but it was a cool looking flower. Well, was this a one-time flower? A mutation or something else? It possibly even being picked out of its own hunting areas and ended up here. And could have died there, or it never existed. If that's the case, someone faked it and completely permanently changed Harlan Ford's life. So, yeah, good on you. That was funny. The rest of you, though, enjoy yourselves, and thank you for your time.